Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Dweeb Factory. This is Game Talk. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Bo, and we're using this really cool 4K TV that you can draw on here at the Geek House. Kevin's going to go ahead and sign it real quick.
All right, I think they get the point.
Right. So the first item of business we have today on Game Talk is going to be The Witcher 3 mod support. The great thing about mod support is that I feel it adds life to a game. What do you think, Kevin?
Mods are excellent, as we've seen mainly on some videos with, let's say, GTA 4, GTA 5 on the PC. Mods are hilarious. Mods are awesome. Everybody just wants to put in their own creative input into these games. What kind of stuff do you think we're going to see that the community can come up with for Witcher 3?
So I know a lot of people don't like doing this, but let's compare it to Skyrim, right?
Okay.
Which is one of the most famously modded games right now, at least. I can't say of all time, but right now. So you're going to have the Thomas the Train mod. You're going to have the Tommy Wiseau, whatever his name is, you know, you're going to have all of those mods. And so, there's the high definition mods. There's some mods where you can be a little more realistic and whatnot, where your arrows knock a bit different of a way or something like that. That's cool and all, but I just want to see some funny mods.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
definitely.
What kind do you want to see?
Well, like you were saying, like some of the graphic enhancing mods, The Witcher is a beautiful game starting off.
Yeah.
Recently, they did a mod for Skyrim where it was more of a cartoony feel. So I think that if they did that with The Witcher, like if it was maybe kind of zany and out there, dude, like if I had to choose one mod, and I hope that somebody out there on the interwebs is just listening intently as I say this, I want to see a Freakazoid mod in Witcher 3, dude. Just run around Freakazoid.
Freakazoid runs around in underwear.
Yeah, dude. Freakazoid. Okay. But
check out
that's on my... that's got to be the top of my wish list for mods.
All right. Next up, we have Rocket League, which I've only dabbled in at QuakeCon. Rocket League was all over QuakeCon, by the way.
Getting a new Coliseum map that has its own PSN trophies or achievements. So that's the first time that we've really seen that it's distinct to a certain map. So I think that's going to be a great addition to the game. Rocket League's amazing just by itself, and adding on top of this, of course, for the PlayStation faithful out there, Rocket League was a free-to-play game because it was free with PlayStation Plus, but the DLC is only like $3.99. It's $4 for some extra skins and the new Coliseum map. So I would definitely say go out and get this if you're trying to support Psyonix and everything that they're doing with Rocket League. It's a beautiful game. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out. Next up on the list, though, we got Fallout Shelter. Coming to Android, it was already released for iPhone, and we know it was kicking butt. It outsold Candy Crush within like the first week on iPhone.
Yeah, it was insane.
So now they're adding that Android fan base, and that is just huge. Bo, have you had a chance to check it out yet?
Yes. Fallout Shelter is basically like Tiny Tower Fallout style. It's pretty great. You can watch innocent women and children die in fires. Okay, that's really bad to laugh about. Yeah, sorry, that was messed up. But it's great because it's basic. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I actually just started playing it today, so just kind of a basic overview. You got 3 main resources. It's food, electricity, and water, because you're just stuck in this vault underground trying to just survive the nuclear holocaust, pretty much. I just don't think it has a lot of lasting appeal for the franchise. It's really it's really just there to whet people's palates for Fallout 4.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, actually, I think you put it best. There's no real reason why this should continue to be something that is this popular going into when Fallout is launched, because they don't want some... Of course, we know it's not going to dwarf the Fallout launch, but what about people who just have a phone and can't afford the PlayStation 4, a nice PC, or an Xbox One? You know, so it's not going to dwarf it, but I think it's got some play. Because, for example, Tiny Tower's been going... I'm sorry to rant on this for a little bit.
I love Tiny Tower. You showed me that like 2 years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago, right? And it's still up and running. They still receive support for it. And I got a new phone back in, December? So this is 8 months ago, and 9 months ago. I can't count. But 9 months ago, and I was like, well, you know, I'll just pick up some Tiny Tower. And I started playing Tiny Tower. And the phone before that, I was like, I'll play some Tiny Tower. And back in like 2012, end of 2011, I started playing Tiny Tower. And like, it's still got that support. So it's still fun. And I think that's what Fallout's going to have. But there's obviously other things that caught my attention in the meantime as far as mobile gaming goes. So I think that's how Fallout Shelter is going to turn out.
Okay.
But up next, we have a lot of the D23, right? Yeah, D23, which is the Disney. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. Kevin knows a lot more about this than I do, but it's essentially the Disney convention.
Yep, it's like the Disney Fan Expo.
Okay, the Fan Expo, where they debut a lot of Disney-esque things. We now know that everything that Disney's announced, that everything Star Wars that they release is going to be canon, whether it be a book, whether it be a movie, whether it be a comic, whether it be whatever, video game.
Yep.
It's going to be canon. So what are you expecting? What are you hoping for?
Well, the big part from like Star Wars, because we know that Disney's been expanding over the past couple years. They bought Star Wars. They own Marvel now. They have a lot of wealth to pull from there. So the big thing is Disney Infinity 3.0, which is the big upgrade from Disney Infinity. 2.0 was really the big Marvel superheroes push for it, but 3.0 is the big Star Wars push. I know Zach is going to be really excited about this because he has some of the Infinity characters, and we'll probably end up maybe getting him one or two here and there just to surprise him. But
don't watch this video, Zach.
Yeah, Zach's never going to watch this video anyways. It's fine. But nah, like I said, there's a bunch of new Star Wars characters that you can throw into the Disney Infinity game, a whole bunch of new missions and game types to play. So that's going to be a really big thing to look for at D3 going on this weekend. The other big one from Star Wars is Battlefront, which I think we're really excited for as like the next gen gamers. Battlefront, we've already seen a lot from E3 and from Gamescom 2015, and I think we're only going to see more great stuff at D23. But the main thing I'm excited for, Bo, is Kingdom Hearts 3. It was a little underplayed at E3 this year. I think they were really saving their main push for D23.
I was going to say, because I think there's still a little more they want to. I think they don't want to have anything taken away from it. You know, and that's what's going to be just the bam of D23. I think Star Wars, it cat's out of the hat, man. I really do believe, I agree with you that I think that Kingdom Hearts 3, that's how long was it since Kingdom Hearts 2? How long has it been? That was what, 05?
Yeah, so it's been almost 10 years.
It's been a decade, dude. So
actually, I think Kingdom Hearts came out in 05. It's been that long that hardcore fans of the series are forgetting when the last actual installment in the franchise came out.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. I really think that that's going to be the star of the show for D23, strictly because it's just been so long. We've wanted it for so long. You know, there's been a lot of Star Wars things that have happened between, the last Star Wars movie or game or whatever it is until now. There's been so much. And so I really do believe that Kingdom Hearts 3, I hope it's a fantastic game. Not only do I hope it's going to be a fantastic game, the first one, I remember when we were going to school together, it was really hard for me to get into it because I was really into some violent, awful video games. And so I wanted to see someone like die bloody and whatnot. So the Keyblade thing seemed a little weird to me. But I eventually got into it, and I like it. I love Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts 2 had a little bit more of a darker feel to it and had a little bit more, depth in the storyline to it. Very well put together. I just hope there's so much more of because what you do is you go essentially, for those of you who don't play Kingdom Hearts, you go to essentially different Disney realms. And explore those different Disney realms within the Disney stories. You go visit Mulan World, the Pirates of the Caribbean world, whatever. And I just want to see so much more of that. We grew up with Disney, so we're all huge fans of it.
And speaking of different worlds, now that Disney owns so many IPs and so many franchises, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of theories. Are we going to see like a Marvel superheroes world? Yeah. Are we going to see a Star Wars world? I think that is the one that everybody's really clamoring for, is the Star Wars world. Since they're bringing so much stuff from Star Wars into Disney now, and they're bringing Kingdom Hearts in, are we going to see a little crossover here where you got like Sora with a lightsaber Keyblade and Luke just jumps in beside him? Are we going to see something like that? We don't know. We're really hopeful for it, but I'm going to be excited either way.
Yeah.
As long as we just get to see some new stuff from Kingdom Hearts, I think D23 is going to be a success for me.
I agree.
Yeah. Moving on to our next topic. From Gearbox, which is one of our local Dallas companies. Their next big hit is Battleborn, and we've seen some good footage from E3 and from Gamescom as well for this. they're really trying to push for that fall 2015 release.
I was watching. I don't know if any of our viewers watch Video Game Donkey, but his E3 review was spot on. Blizzard denies it. They straight up said it's nothing like Team Fortress, whatever. But he was spot on in his description of something along the lines of Overwatch and what Battleborn is essentially going to be, which I think Battleborn is going to be a little bit more creative. But he essentially said Blizzard is taking something that is, they're taking something successful, copying that formula and making something of their own, putting their own twist on it, and then putting it out for everyone to play, which is what Overwatch is. Which you look at Battleborn, the people who did Borderlands, you have Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel, now they're doing now they're doing Battleborn. It's such a different type of game. It's a different type of company that creates these games. They have different types of voice actors. They're a little more vulgar. They're a little more interesting in the jokes that they have, the innuendos, the puns, whatever you want to say. And it's something that I'm excited for strictly because it's different. We don't have a game where there's some weird mushroom-looking guy throwing kunai at people. We don't have a game where there's a lightsaber guy licking his sword and smashing people with it with a guy with a Gatling gun. I mean, that's insane to me. There's so many different types of characters, and the whole tag on it is, there's a character for every kind of badass, which I think is great.
Every kind of badass is welcome to get into this game, tear stuff up. If you're a shooter, if you're a hack and slash guy, if you just want to hang back and heal, if you want to be a support character, there is literally a class for every person in this game to just pick up, play. And like you're saying, there's so many different types of ways to play. The PvP mode we know is going to be almost like a MOBA, but from the first person's perspective. So you're going to have a bit of a minion 5-on-5, controlling some lanes, stuff like that. But then there's also a 5-player cooperative story campaign where you can just rush through the whole thing with your friends. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of different types of players, and it's just going to hit a huge base of gamers out there.
Yeah, a lot of Dallas pride, obviously, for us. So that's, I don't know, we love Dallas.
We want Gearbox to move to Frisco, Texas, our stomping grounds. Represent.
Absolutely.
Get it.
Frisco. Like it was Cold Hard Streets. But but Mafia 3 is the next up on our list. Mafia 3, we were able to get a little bit of a look into what kind of game this is going to be. The first two, didn't really play them as much as I probably should have, but they're really in-depth stories. Just because you look at the preview, and I won't take too much from it, but you look at the preview and there's this kind of monologue with some Vin Diesel guy sounding dude who, was in Vietnam or something, talking about family and crap. And you can tell they're obviously not blood family, but they're his friends, whatever. Yep. So you get a lot of a monologue from that guy. It's a classic, don't mess with my homies and my family or else I'll kill you and stuff, which is a great premise for any story or game or movie. Yeah. So that's pretty much what it is.
And as far as trailer taglines go, I've got to say this is a great one. It's not who you're born with, it's who you die for. Yeah. And that is the true meaning of family in this. And let's hope that there's a little bit more of a sandbox aspect to it. The last two have been kind of linear with the story, didn't really give you a lot of chances to explore the world. Let's hope that this one is a little bit more open-ended, and you get to kind of explore the world and make your own experience out of it.
Yeah, they didn't reveal any gameplay or anything. It was just a cinematic trailer, which I like.
Yeah, that's all that we've seen so far.
It whets your palate and makes you want, to have a little more.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even with a Mafia game, when you think Mafia, you think like the Italians, the mob. But even with the main character and the three of his support characters that they revealed, it's very diverse.
Yeah.
So
you have some guy with a handlebar mustache. You have the Vin Diesel dude. You have a chick with an afro.
Yep.
And then you have some guy who thinks he's cool. So pretty cool. Moving on. Yeah. Next thing that we're going to talk about is actually the Resident Evil 2 remake. Kevin's played a lot more Resident Evil than I have. I love Resident Evil games, though. I just haven't played them as much. What do you think about the Resident Evil 2 remake? Why is this a big deal?
Resident Evil 2 was an amazing game back in the day, and it definitely needs a graphics update. But just the gameplay alone, it stands the test of time. I can still go back to Resident Evil 2, have fun. I mean, now playing Resident Evil 5 and 6, I think 6, they almost tried to revive that feel of Resident Evil 2 by bringing back Leon, bringing back Sherry Birkin, and some other iconic characters from that storyline. And honestly, I think that any Resident Evil game that has Leon on it is a good Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4 is probably the best of all time if I had to rank them. And I think that a lot of people would agree with me on that Resident Evil 4 is probably the best in the series.
It was on GameCube and...
Yeah, it started out on GameCube, then it got ported to the PS2 with that like laser gun and stuff. But Resident Evil 2 Remake, I think this will get a lot of people re-interested in the series. 6 was almost a flop financially, so that one definitely hit them in a bad way. But I think that Capcom can make a really, really good return here by remaking Resident Evil 2.
You think Resident Evil 6 was a flop?
I like the mechanics of the game a lot better, going from 5 to 6, where you could have more of the action style fighting and stuff, some of those killer combos. But as far as
pile driver a zombie, man.
Yeah, but as far as the storyline goes, I just wasn't that impressed with it.
Leon's story was the only one that was decent, and it wasn't like fantastic, but everyone else's, I agree, were just like by the end of, I think it was the third story, I forget who it was, you were just like some weird alien guy with like laser arms. And like ran around in a sewer and punched a fat guy. So. Yeah,
Wesker's son. Like they could have made that so crazy out of proportion. I feel like they didn't go far enough with that character. Like they could have made him just like the god of all like mutants. Well, not mutants, but the people with like the virus enhancements.
It was just a YOLO thing. Like you got to go or I'll die.
Right.
I'm going to die anyway, let's fight, but whatever. The next game that we have up that we're actually really excited to talk about because America won.
America
won.
We beat the Chinese.
The Chinese. It was Dota 2. So Dota 2, this is a big deal because the winning pot was like north of $6 million for these guys. So our American boys went and slaughtered tons of people in Dota 2. Now, if you don't understand Dota 2, it's a MOBA. Now, what a MOBA is essentially, it's like if you want to think of it as like a hack and slash dungeon kind of aerial view, but then you work as a team and go out and either accomplish an objective or just kill everyone, or both at the same time, which is exactly what Dota 2 is. So
MOBA is a multiplayer online battle arena. That doesn't mean a lot when you're just saying it out there. Essentially what it is one of the craziest PvP things that is out there right now, as far as any console or any platform is concerned.
No.
Most of them are on the PC, which is the PC master race for MOBAs. I really can't argue with that, and honestly, that's probably why I'm terrible at that type of game, is because it is geared towards a PC audience, and I'm a console gamer from birth, man.
Well, so. you look at the top 10 streamed games on Twitch right now. Number 1 is League of Legends. So I was working the other day and I had Twitch up on my other monitor at work, and I just had some StarCraft 2 up because it was a lot of the ESL championship that's been going on, and there was about 20,000 people watching StarCraft 2, and in the middle of one of the biggest professional StarCraft 2 championships, League of Legends was streaming close to 90,000 people. It was 89,000 something, whatever.
Wow.
League of Legends, a MOBA. And like second or third was Dota 2. But that was just after the championship, so there's a lull and whatever. But it's intriguing to me that that's such and people who don't play MOBAs, for example, we don't play MOBAs, but it's really easy for someone to watch just because it's very easy to understand what exactly is going on, because you understand there's red versus blue, however you want to refer to it as, and they have to accomplish this objective and they can go get it.
Right.
It's extremely entertaining. But the biggest thing we wanted to talk about was the fact that it's best out of 5. And so what our American boys did was they showed up and it was best 3. They won 3 out of the 5, I believe is what it was.
Yep.
And the last round was the best one. I'm actually going to have Kevin talk about it.
Okay, yeah. But, so just to kind of set the scene for everybody, it was the international grand finale of the tournament. So these are the best teams in the world. It's not just like a little rinky-dink tournament going on here in the States. You got people from all over the world coming to compete in this. And the Evil Geniuses are the American team, and they're taking on the CDEC, which is the Chinese Elite.
I don't know, Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Yeah, it's Chinese Dota Elite Community, I think is what it stands for. But it is the elite
Creative.
of the just the upper echelon of all the Dota players in the world. And the American team goes up head-to-head against the Chinese team, and they beat them in 4 rounds. It's best out of
4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's best out of 5, but they beat them in 4 rounds. America won the first round, gave up the second, but won the rest of them out. And the 4th round, when America sealed it, oh my gosh, we have a clip that we're going to put up here in just a second, but the American team just gets all of the Chinese players in one group and just slams them with this ice trap, and they're all just stuck there helpless. And just the announcers are going crazy. It's a disaster! Oh, gosh. Ben, just roll it. Just roll it.
And with some mail down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dog! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Samael is back, they'll get the Aegis with the Immortal.
Yeah, they don't even need to buy time. When they have superior vision and CDEC have no idea it's coming.
All right. But that's what we're talking about. It's just insane in the membrane. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. I wish I was better at Dota so I could be good at this.
I really think that, I'm sorry to cut you off, Kevin. I really think that like MOBAs are some of the most entertaining things to watch just because there's so many people that are into watching them. I mean, League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm hopefully will reach this, but Heroes of the Storm still kind of a baby MOBA right now.
Yep.
DOTA2, I mean, there was up to 10 million euros being won in some of these pots at some points, man. It's nuts. League of Legends, I think it was League of Legends, filled up an entire soccer stadium in Brazil for one tournament. Yep. It's awesome. And what's funny is you'll tell someone about this of like, yeah, there was this esports thing or whatever. And when you think sports, you think big, beefy athlete, whatever. And you're like, well, they're not. They're not athletes. They're just nerds. You're right. It's exactly what they are. They're not athletes. They're nerds, but they're athletes with their minds.
Super nerds.
And you think about all that multitasking that's going on and all of the reflexes that they have going on. That's definitely not something that the average human being has. Yep. That is definitely a talent that is worth being paid that much. And so much respect to those evil geniuses, our American boys who went to the World Championships and won. Not even the Koreans made it that far.
Yeah.
And the Koreans are like the only, I don't know, they're like the only other ones in the world that like do this kind of stuff and beat everyone at it. So we're just extremely excited for them, and congrats, evil geniuses. And thanks for some of the most awesome MOBA gameplay we've ever seen.
Talk about dedication. So our last point for Game Talk this week. I guess I'm going to take the lead on this one, Bo, because it's Destiny related.
That's okay. I have one thing to say about it, though.
All right, I will definitely let you get your 2 cents in. But this weekend, it has finally happened for everyone who is not blessed by the great RNGesus. We praise thee. But Xur, the black market merchant in Destiny, brings a random exotic weapon every week. Random. And this week it has finally happened. He has brought the Gjallarhorn, the peak of excellence in Destiny weapons. Everybody who has it uses it on everything. Everybody who doesn't have it wants it like heck. And they sold it like the second week that the game was out, and nobody either had the strange coins to buy it, or they were just like, what's this exotic rocket launcher called a Gjallarhorn? It looks cool, but is it really good? And if they didn't buy it that week, they severely regretted it. Yeah. I've been lucky enough to have 4 of them drop throughout all of the exotic chances that I've had with my time during Destiny. I have a maxed out one on every character. But for all the people who've put in like hundreds of hours and still don't have it, it's almost unfathomable. Like if you put in the time every week, it's almost ridiculous to say that you still don't have a Gjallarhorn. Like that means you just have the worst luck of all time. But now finally people who've been grinding for it, been saving up the strange coins, waiting, wishing, praying to RNGesus for a chance to bring it again. Now they finally have it. The biggest downside about this is that it comes literally a month before it gets the biggest nerf that it's ever gotten.
Here's the reason I think, okay, I have two things to say. One, why that's a good idea, and one, why that's a bad idea. It's a good idea because there's always a lull in games right before an expansion comes out. Right as an expansion comes out, there's a spike in that gameplay. It's happened in, I'm not going to name all the games, but it's happened in a ton of games. Now, companies will do what they can, or developing studios will do what they can in order to keep people actually playing those games while there's that lull, right? Because everyone knows the next big thing's coming. So like, I'm just going to go get this other game out of the way real quick, and then I'm going to go and play my Destiny again, or my whatever again. And so the reason that's a good idea is because making a legendary weapon, it sounds like, just available to everyone, that's going to get a lot of people playing. For those casual players who want to come back and have that same experience that people have been enjoying for the last year or however long that Gjallarhorn's been out, that's a fantastic idea. Yeah. The reason it's a bad idea is strictly because now I just got this awesome weapon that I'm a casual player that I fought so hard for the last couple months, or maybe it took you a week, but maybe a week is a lot for your time in one game if you're one that plays multiple games, and it gets nerfed after a month. Now, it's not necessarily Gjallarhorn that gets nerfed in the initial launch. It's the rockets themselves, those homing rockets, I think.
Right. The Wolfpack rounds.
The Wolfpack rounds, they essentially get nerfed. And so there's some good and bad to it, but all in all, I think it's a fantastic move on Bungie's part to keep a lot of playability in the game right now, to make it attractive, rather than just, I don't know. I don't think it's like just airing out your dirty laundry and saying, hey, come and play this. We'll just give you all this stuff for free. It still takes some work. So it still takes some grind, which if you're going to play an MMO, there's some grinding. You better understand that. So, and there is, even to get this, even though it's easier to get, there's still some grinding. I like that.
Definitely. And then one of the big changes that they said that they're going to make to Xur going forward with the expansion is that he's actually going to have a consumable item called the 3 of coins. I mean, you buy stuff with strange coins, so I guess that's a kind of play on words there. But apparently that's actually going to make it easier for you to get exotic drops in the future.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 30-minute consumable, or I don't know if it's time-based or not. They really didn't say.
It just has more sway on the loot you get?
Exactly, yeah. They said it's actually going to increase the chance of an exotic weapon or armor or whatever, an exotic item to drop with your next boss kill.
Sure.
Yeah, so people who've been grinding for those crazy exotics that they just have never gotten are going to at least have a way to increase the chance now.
Sounds good. Yep. That's everything we have to talk about today on Game Talk. Please follow us on Twitter. I'm at Schmadams_445. That's SHMADAMS_445. You can find us on Facebook, Dweeb Factory. You can obviously find us on YouTube, where you're watching us right now. Kevin, where can everyone find you?
Everybody can find me on Facebook, on Twitter at @TheKevinBurke, on Instagram at TheKB23, and as always, right here on Dweeb Factory.
Have a good rest of the day. Thanks.
Thanks again for tuning into Dweeb Factory, guys.
Watch everything comics, movies, gaming, everything that you guys love. We're here every single Thursday night here at the Geek House in Dallas, Texas. Email us at our Gmail account. Hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and comment below for what you want to see next time.
Power high five, Kevin!